we're switching it up a little less upbeat, especially with the sort of strange settings our heroine finds herself in. But yes, how's it go? Before I jump in, which I'm certainly eager to do, I upgraded our, as you can see, it's like a flight attendant indicating the exits. You can find the exits to this stream on each side of the overlay. No, but I've got Ratchet's name and stats up here now. I've got just some little accessories. I think I'll just, like, it's always fun for me to just, like, upgrade things incrementally. So as we go on, I think this overlay will get more and more involved. Hopefully not too busy to look at, but we'll see. Also, we'll see how long this little Boskets Banks adventure lasts us. I went for brown claws today. I felt that that was appropriate for sort of the more muted tones of the world of Boskets Banks. Although Boskets Banks is just this town. I'm pretty sure there's places outside of Boskets Banks, but will we ever encounter those places? Who can say? Because we're still technically figuring out the layout of Kevrakan Sanatorium. I may have given up on, like, rolling in the box. I think part of it is just, like, the box is too high. I need something that's just a little bit lower. I'll just roll on the paper for everyone to see. Hopefully that works for you all. But yeah, should I do a recap? A lot happened last time. For our last time and also the first time. We figured out who we're playing as, Ratchet Purslane. She didn't have a name before. Our titular rat girl. She's basically a commoner. Her job is that she helps to raise silkworms. She's got her little candle buddy, who still doesn't have a name. I thought Snuff was a cute name, but then it makes me think of snuff films. And so I'm like, I don't know. But maybe there's a charm to that. Snuff has not really been much of a character because Snuff was immediately snuffed out at the beginning of this little adventure. Oh, look, a sticker. No, come back here. Don't get distracted by stickers, player, even though it's very easy to do. Ratchet is sick. Ratchet has some kind of illness that thus far has been dubbed bridge sickness because she lives under a bridge. And not too surprisingly, not the safest, most healthy living conditions, but also there's some kind of magical element to this sickness that's causing this sickness to spread, like something being dumped in the water supply. And Ratchet is a nosy busybody that wants to try and figure out what the niff is going on and find a way to stop it, not only because she has whatever this illness is, but because she's a curious gal. Curious enough that, given the opportunity to leave the situation of being trapped in a bathroom of an insane asylum, she decided to go in further. She had agreed to help Cass, our kind of wormy, although the art I made, the digital art I made for Cass I like a lot better. I really dig their style then. And maybe, here's, when I edit this later, I'm just gonna do a little like, ding! And you'll see the art there. You can see the art that I've drawn thus far on the Discord as well. Although I'm not satisfied with our third character, our third proper NPC. So we're trying to find someone in Keverkan Sanatorium, a partner of Cass's, the thief who Ratchet ran into in the sewers, who has a lighter, which Ratchet agreed to help Cass because she wanted to borrow the lighters so that she could get our little candle buddy back in working order, back to consciousness, basically. Of course, things just went downhill immediately. They ran into Riching, who is one of the orderlies. There was another orderly taking a shower. Ratchet had to scurry around to avoid being caught, which is how she ended up in this secret passageway that is occupied by a certain wall dweller named Ferdinand Crud, who's just a real upstanding citizen. Our facial scar and long skinny arms having friend. But he's friendly at least. Cass wasn't friendly. We find ourselves back in Keverkan. We know that Ferdinand doesn't want to help Ratchet find this other character, even though he knows where they are, because they're kept in some kind of dangerous location, and the dice told us it's something, or I interpreted from the dice rather, it's something to do with serpents. So there's like venom injections involved. It sounds nasty. It sounds unpleasant. I guess for now, Ratchet is gonna keep making her way. So we have this weird passage. Where's this weird passage gonna lead us? Is my first question. The first dice roll. Oh, I wanted to have this little dude. Our little slug buddy, who I feel has kind of similar vibes to just the patchwork, kind of crusty vibes of Boskets Banks. So I redrew the beginnings of my little map here, as you can see, so it wasn't all just trapped in this corner. So, I mean, this is not ideal for drawing maps. It's, you know, a very limited amount of space. But for my purposes, this is at least better. But our passage widened. Did it say anything about what it led to? I don't know if it did. Ferdinand Crud, what are we doing here? Why are you here? Exactly. Do I want to know? It might be something that requires a roll on the keyword table. Oh, also, I upgraded my Banks resident features, which was 1 through 30 before, and so I've made it 2 separate 20 tables, because I think that makes a lot more sense and will be easier to calculate than the prior iteration. Got names, where, armed, and secrets. What is Ferdinand Crud doing here in the walls? I know last time I said it was like, is this the boy situation? I feel like I would like a little more context. I think we could bear to have a better understanding of this character. Oh, that is kind of in the corner, but I guess it's an 8 and a 60, 68. Water, okay. And 7, was it 7? Then I knocked it over. 57 is swim, water swim. So that feels kind of upfront, honestly. Is it possible that he just got washed in here, or he just like, there's some kind of pipes that he's moving around in. I both love and hate the visual of that, which he already in my mind is like a very skinny, lanky character scooching around in the pipes. Oh, I love it. Travels in the pipes. For fun? Imagine. He's probably just like looming over Ratchet as she's trying to like suss out, is this guy okay? Like, am I good? I don't know that she immediately would be distrustful of this character, but I mean, he's basically well, I was gonna say he's basically a walking red flag, but here in Boskets Banks, things are not as polite, shall we say, as one would hope or expect. So I just imagine it's just like, hey there, little girl. Ugh. Terrible. Now, while Ratchet is an adult woman, she is probably dwarfed a bit by this lanky cryptid. So, if you can't help me get out of, well, I'm trying to find somebody named Trip. They're an associate of mine, I guess. I really just wanted the lighter, but I really need to find this person. Ferdinand is just like, I'm imagining just, the art of Ferdinand has like the one eye covered. I can't gesture to my face because you guys can't see it, but the one eye that's peeking out from the bandages. This is the first sketch, and then Fox did a delightful sketch that I enjoyed. Oh, I don't go up there. It's not safe. All those sharp needles. No. That's not a safe place for anybody, especially a little mouse like you. Does put Ratchet in a bit of a pickle. Okay, well, if you can't show me the way, or you can't take me there, can you at least tell me how to get there? What room is it? So, next question. Can she get to that room from this passage? Is how I'm going to word the question. Now I'm going to ask the Oracle. Can she get to Trip's room from this passage? That's an 18. So just a flat yes. So I think Ferdinand would say, oh, certainly, you can get there from here. You just have to keep following the path. And just pointing this long, clammy, bony finger down the passageway. So I think that means we need to just continue building on this pathway and see where it leads us. Which this probably doesn't counter into the 18 rooms of the asylum, the sanatorium rather. I might need to start a separate map. Add our gangly fellow. Alright. It's like, just follow the path. You know, this cavern, this seemingly handmade cavern, just widens out. And I don't think it goes very far before it leads into whatever it leads into next, which I will roll on a... Well, I don't want it to lead to another passage, per se. A room, a door, or stairs? I'm gonna say a room, and we'll see how that goes. Also, I think last time when we were making this passage, didn't it say add plus 40 to what's in this passage? So I don't recall if we actually rolled for passage contents. So that also might change things a little, because there's a couple of options. Let's see. That's a D20. No, not a D20. A D100. Can't you travel with him through the pipe? I don't know if that would even occur to Ratchet to even do that. 34 plus 40, so 74. Empty apart from rubble. Clue 10%, perception check, DC 10 to find. Okay, is there a clue? I mean, Ferdinand's kind of already given her a clue. That's a 38, so no. So basically it's just like bits of wall and stone and kind of like just the infrastructure of this building abutting whatever is on the outside or the underside of this building. But I was going to roll a d20 to see what was in the room beyond. That's a 2. Rectangular. A d4 times 10. Although I'm not really gonna be too fussy with dimensions of things, but in this case... Alright, so 20... Oh, 20 by 30. And I'm already imagining, like, the twisting pipes of what it must look like in here. And D6 exits. Alright. If Ferdinand is to believe, there has to be at least one other exit from this place. And there is, because I rolled a 2. So, I'm gonna roll on the starting area again to see what the next section might be. Because is it stairs or passage? An open entrance? That wants a D10. That's a D8. It's a 2, so there's just another passage. Alright, then I will put that just directly ahead for the contents of this room. Let's see if there's any critters waiting for Ratchet in this room. 68. NPC, enemy or ally of the PC near death, 1d4 levels less than you, minimum level, unconscious, level appropriate hard encounter. Enemy or enemies reduced to 50% HP, loot 50%. A battle has obviously gone on here. The NPC has fought a powerful creature and lost, but has damaged it somewhat. Ooh. Ratchet isn't even a proper adventurer yet. So I guess they have to be a level 1? So they are not, in fact, less than her, because we're really working with a commoner who has not, who hasn't earned her stripes as an adventurer yet. So she is so a child. Well, let's see, perhaps bringing Clip Studio back up to look at our NPC descriptions. I'm gonna roll 2d20. Who has found themselves and attacked by what? So 2 spots, 15, a wide grid. Spots and a wide grid. So they could have been a child because I have very young on the one table. A child that's infected with a disease, that's why he has the spots. Oh, this is like maybe this is a worse version of the bridge sickness where it starts giving people boils or spots or little buboes. Hopefully not buboes, because then I don't know we're finding a cure for that one. Also, didn't it say that they were unconscious? Yeah, unconscious. So we may not notice the big grin yet, but we know somebody with spots and a big grin. Probably not grinning as they're honk-shooing away. And then a level appropriate hard encounter. Enemy or enemies reduced to 50 HP. So what was it? 2 people getting into a fight? Are there actually like a ton of people living in the passages surrounding the asylum? Or did this person get caught by some kind of creature? Let's see. I'm going to ask the Oracle, were they attacked by a creature? That is a 10. So I think that's a maybe, which is not the most helpful. Skill check or re-roll? What would this skill check be? Maybe she can't see what she's looking at? So she can't even see what attacked this person. Yeah, alright, let's roll a perception check. That is 7, so no, she can't see what attacked this person. That doesn't mean it's not there. We know based on prior knowledge that it is there. I think Ratchet would turn to Mr. Crud and be like, wait, they've been wounded. We need to help them, don't we? Now I'm gonna see, does Ferdinand even know who that is? Did Ferdinand beat this guy up, actually? And he's the monster. He's the hard encounter. Is that a yes, but? That's a yes, but. And the plot thickens. He knows who that is, but... I'm doing a lot of Oracle rolls, but... There's so much we just don't know. I'm gonna roll on, but he hates him, question mark? He doesn't hate him, but he loves him? I'm gonna put this at slightly less likely, because this person is unconscious in a corner. So I'll just say unlikely, which is a -3. But Ferdinand Crud, the man who lives in the walls, is not the most mentally with it of people, I'd wager, so who knows. That's an 8. -3 is 5. So that's a no. Is it his brother? He doesn't love his brother? Well, it's a different kind of love, I suppose, than what we were thinking. I do kind of like that idea, though, that there's almost like these Tweedledum and Tweedledee spooky fellas that live in the walls. Alright, let's see. That is a 15, which is a yes! It's his brother! So, the 2 Crud brothers that live in the walls. Fantastic. Alright, we've got a brother. A second Crud. So, let me open the names. So, if it's a name we've already rolled before, I'm just going to re-roll Freddy Krudger. Okay, that's a 6 and a 70. Hatchet? Hey! Our names are similar. Hatchet and Ratchet, soon to be best friends. Maybe he just goes by Hatch. I think Ratchet is a compassionate sort of person. She's going to go try and help this person. Does she have any means of helping? But we'll see. I kind of like building, like, I've started out with like 0 information and we're just building as we go. And then, so if I ask, like, well, I asked before, does Ratchet have anything to help with picking locks? And she didn't. So if I ask if Ratchet has anything to help with injuries, maybe she does. And then it'll just be like, oh yeah, she had that the whole time. We have our hard encounter. Something has been wounded. Turkey Blair. There's loot. What kind of loot would be in this back room? Alright. A moment. Is it wall chicken? Does she find chicken in the walls? Wall chicken. Sweet, sweet loot. Hooah! Alright, so Hatchet Crud has been knocked unconscious by something in this room. Ferdinand doesn't seem to care. Oh wait, he said he couldn't... Ferdinand said that he couldn't show Ratchet the way to the room that Trip was in, because it's dangerous. Maybe what made it dangerous has... He knows that because his brother has been knocked out by something that was in that room. Perhaps he's only just saved his brother Hatchet, and maybe he got him out, but whatever was on him is still around. I'm imagining something that's kind of like a cross between a snake and a leech. And it's still squirming about in this room, and maybe, you know, it's been stepped on to get it to let go of Hatch, but it's still in here. As thick and as big as a snake, but with leechy properties, I suppose. And whatever this thing is has some kind of potent venom that has knocked out Hatch here. If it's a snake leech, can it go in the pipe and hunt Hatchet again? It probably could. It could get into the pipes itself, unless maybe it doesn't like the water? What would be a good name for the snake leech? A sneech? I like sneech. I think I'm gonna call it a sneech. Alright, he's been attacked by a sneech. Ratchet didn't make her perception check. She doesn't know it's there. She's going to try and check on Hatch here. Roll a medicine check. That's a 12, which isn't terrible. And now I'll ask, does Ratchet have anything that would assist a medical check in mechanical terms, but that would help heal Hatchet? Oh, that's a 20! So that's a yes and. Oh, look at it. So what does she have? I was thinking, because she is a grub minder, she works with silkworms, maybe she has just kind of some unprocessed silk material. I don't know what you call it when it's not like actually silk fibers. She has silkworm fibers that we'll say, at least in this world, are very good for soaking up bandaging wounds. He's gonna look more like his brother now. I'm gonna say she is successful. I think she definitely will notice the wound of whatever the sneech's bite looks like on Hatchet's arm. Ratchet will bind the wound with the silkworm fiber. I don't think that's gonna get him back to consciousness, but it'll at least keep the wound from getting infected, which here in the pipes and back ways, definitely a danger. Now, when she goes over to help, does the sneech attack? That's a 7, which is a no. Maybe the sneech just wants to get away. It is a simple animal. Hatch isn't dead. We can't just go looting his body. Although maybe that's the loot that's in this room. Alright, so she's able to bandage up Hatch. She will attempt to maybe pick him up and, I don't know, put him in a more advantageous position. Are leeches bothered by salt? Are they like slugs in that way? Maybe. I don't know. I've never heard of salt being used to get rid of leeches. But yeah, I think Ratchet is trying to lift this person. Hey, could you help me out here? He's a little bit heavy. Did you see what happened? Oh, as I told you before, is that wretched room, that horrible, wretched room. The experiments, the things I've seen. My poor brother. Oh, he's only just survived. At least I think anyway. You better check his pulse. And I think the whole time there's a weird, it almost sounds like he's smiling when he says that. And for Ratchet, it's just another thing to add on, like, I don't know about this guy over here. It's almost kind of like, well, thank goodness for Hatch that Ratchet showed up, because his brother likes him, but he doesn't love him. He doesn't hate him. So he's like, I'm going to put an amount of effort into saving you, but not like a lot. I'm not gonna like do too much. Alright, but yeah, let's see about this loot here. What kind of loot would be in this room? We only have a 50% of finding loot in here. So there may be nothing. We maybe are helping this guy out for no reason. That is a 13, so there is loot. Ooh! The Sneech's pet. Just pick up the Sneech, put a collar on it, take it to the vet to get chipped, and there you go. I mean, Ratchet already has a little candle buddy, even though he's been unconscious all this time. Maybe the loot is something that can help her relight Snuff. I've decided to name them Snuff, because no one has objected. Yeah, it's not going to be like coins and gems in this random back room, but maybe it's something useful that, you know, maybe there's a box of matches here that she can use to relight Snuff.
Here to cheat, have another
Maybe
trophy.
it's a trophy! It's an achievement. You helped Hatch. Is there something to light Snuff? Okay, we got another 10, which is a maybe. There's something hypothetically she could use to light a fire. It's not necessarily what it's made for, but she could. So it's like there's something that she could rub together, like 2 sticks or some rocks. I'm going to roll on the keywords to see if maybe that will illuminate the situation. The string of a bow and then the stick to start a fire. Is that a thing people do? So 58 and 25. Hide and seek. Ring. A magic ring? Maybe? Ooh. Hide, though. So a secret ring? Or hide as in animal hide? I don't know that you could... What is the ring made of? Is it a flint ring? I'm imagining as she's trying to drag Hatch away, she sees maybe kind of hidden under his body, hidden under Hatch's body, there's this ring. And it looks interesting. It looks potentially unusual. With an iron ring, you can rub it against the stone or smash it. And if you put the hide under the ring stone, it will put the hide on fire. Oh, there's like literally a piece of untanned hide. Is that how you say something that hasn't been turned into leather? But yeah, some little scrap of animal skin that could be used. Maybe it was like a gross old blanket that Ferdinand had put down as like, this is, you might die, I don't know, but I'm gonna lay you on this like this bit of raccoon fur, and I'm just gonna see what happens. I like your idea, Raul, where maybe it is an enchanted ring, but it's made of metal, and she can try and like strike it against the stone to relight snuff. So I think that's the idea that's in her head. Maybe it is an enchanted ring, and when she does that, there's some kind of magical pushback. That would be fun to see. But yeah, Ratchet makes a point of setting Hatch down a little more comfortably. Ferdinand is happy to just stand back and watch all of this. He's not the most helpful fellow. Again, he's friendly, but hidden magic will come out when she needs it most. Do I want to roll to see if she even gets a spark going? I'm gonna say no. It might take her a couple of tries. I think she'll be able to get enough of a spark on this raggedy hide to, or maybe she has something else that'll burn better, like a bit of paper. I'm gonna say she'll be able to get that spark she needs to relight snuff. It takes a few hours. She just lives in the rooms under the asylum now. This is the life she knows. What I'm gonna roll for to see is if the ring is magic. So I'm gonna write iron ring. It might just be like a simple metal band. This is for the purposes of finding out if it explodes when she tries to light the fire. That is an 18, so that's a yes. So she gets out this scrap of paper to try and catch the sparks as she goes to knock this iron ring against the stone wall. And it's probably like a tink, just a little spark, tink, just a little spark. That she's like, okay, I'm really gonna put a little more juice into this next hit. Maybe I'm gonna break this ring, but oh well. And then tink, and just there's some kind of crazy pushback. I'm gonna I want to roll to see, like, what is the effect? Is it like an explosion of fire and she's incinerated? I'm not gonna do that. That seems mean. But she'll definitely, there's gonna be some kind of reaction. The Ring of the Dragon. Trial of the Dragon. Another 2 rolls on the keyword table. 24 is argue. Okay. Something is going to argue with her? Is something gonna come out of this ring and be like, you destroyed my summoning ring, you idiot? That's a 4. 4 is Bower. Oh, my nail came off. Like a cool ring with a red gem in the mouth of a dragon, and the ring is its body. Argues with the ring for not being the tool she wanted. She's like, I didn't want a dragon. I wanted something to light my candle. You can light many candles with a dragon. Explain how. Argue Bower. Argue Bowser. It summons Bowser. Bower. How does that fit in, though? What is the power word? Bower is the power word? oh, what is the word bower? So here, one of the things I had to hold myself back from when I was making specifically the keywords table, because I enjoy a good word, I tells you what. And like I've mentioned before, my favorite book is my dictionary thesaurus. I actually have two, but one lives at my parents' house. I was about to type in thesaurus. Don't do that. I know what a thesaurus is. So a bower is, I mean, when I think of bower, I think of like a bower bird, but an attractive dwelling or retreat, a lady's private apartment in a medieval hall or castle, a shelter, as in a garden, made with tree boughs or vines twined together. And apparently it's also an anchor carried at the bow of a ship, but that wasn't really the word I was thinking of. It could still work, though. Power of the Ring bows to her will? There's a spirit in the ring that, hypothetically, if you know how to use it, maybe it can create a place of shelter for you, but she's just tried to use this a dragon. Okay, it's a dragon. But it's not like a huge dragon per se. So I'm just gonna say this is an iron dragon ring. And maybe she didn't notice at first because there was kind of like some crud over the details of this ring. So she could just kind of see through like the caked on grit on this thing, the metal of it, and that's all Ratchet really cared about. But then she realizes after the fact, if she cleans off this ring, that it is some kind of dragon ring. And I think because of the argue, I mean, maybe she can attempt to try and appease this spirit. I don't know that she would have great success trying to do that. But I think kind of the immediate reaction of there's probably no visual, but just like this angry booming voice of, who dares to deface my ring? And she'll just like kind of look at her hand as angry red energy starts to pour out of this thing, and just be like, oh, I didn't know, I'm sorry. And she'll just be confused. I don't think she'll have like anything eloquent to say. She's not a bard. She's just a humble grub minder. She doesn't know this big old world. What are the chances that she's able to, like the Ninetales from Naruto? I mean, she has been the beginning of this story. She was looking for a potential warlock patron. Is maybe this how she does it? That she accidentally is going to stumble her way into a pact with some kind of ring entity? I'm gonna say it's unlikely that she is able... I'm gonna say it's highly unlikely that she is able to appease this spirit with her feeble apology. So I'm going to put that at a -5. Does Ratchet appease the spirit? That's a 12. -5 is going to be a no, but is it a no? But 12 - 5 is 7? So that's just a flat no. Not on day 1. We need to know why the spirit's in there and what it wants. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not day 2. We're in the same day, but session 2. Maybe the Bower part is how it punishes her. Does it send her to, like, a little pocket dimension that it has control of or something? Is that possible? I'm gonna roll again. Does she get sent to a little pocket dimension as punishment? 14. So that's a yes. I've had the idea that maybe the reason that this ring is here is not just a random fantasy item, but maybe this ring belongs to someone that runs Kevrakan Sanatorium, and someone who is able to use the powers of this ring to magically transport people into, like, holding cells, basically. Maybe Hatchet and Ferdinand were trying to steal this ring, and that's how Hatchet ended up in the room where they're testing people, the same room where Trip was. Maybe Trip was trying to get a hold of this magical ring, and poor Ratchet has just stumbled upon it, try to use it like a lighter, and pissed off the spirit within, and she finds herself being magically transported into a holding cell for the asylum. So I think one moment she's there, she's stumbling over her apology, and then the red flare envelops her and her whole vision goes red, and she feels this sudden loss of balance as she goes from this location to another. And when her vision comes back to her, she's in a completely different room. And she's found herself in, like, a padded cell. Maybe it's a test of the ring to see if she's worthy. And the Iron Dragon ring belongs to... What would be the title of the person that runs a sanatorium? Just a doctor?